Okay, ona gadi rahi gajoko so don't see us nerdy. Gati danzrio yojets kahawenoji on dudgets going to start no not taruni. Detinurado goronka gari yogasi yet the sota asitam tonka garakwa dana yet in the stars in Honzagi dana goeguskat neganungwe. Detinurado goezini ganyat regero dana aguego o quadzere o nunca soa. Detinurado yet the sota gunha. Nero nada hetstu. Gonna go rio that he have. Okay, out again, ha dam dawe on hetser and does a stasser and a ganungwe. Dam dawe on hetser and certainly got darege ne Kanienkeha haga. Adinato, no not really dano. This Gurewagi? Yeah. Ato, not Roni dano risk Gurewagi. Dam dawe ori huio. Gary was quite shunsera dano gazet stasera. Dam dawe guego on a gordo na gayana dasera go on this kana. Okay, for everybody who's with us, you've been with us in the past, you know that the things that we do, it's not limited to how would I put this? Say just one aspect of our lives. Everything that we do is interconnected. It's connected to everything. So tonight we have, we're going to explain first as to the Kanienkeha class that we're doing here. As you know, Wayagero is the Kanienkeha teacher. I cannot teach Kanienkeha. That is something that is not within my power. I do not pretend or pass myself off as being a speaker or being able to teach anybody the language. But the language class that we're doing here is slightly different than what you'll find anywhere else. Here it is completely within law and for the purpose, the expressed intent to exercise law, to learn, for anybody to learn the language of peace, not in the way that it is come to be today. Where it's basically a translation of the non-native law, but instead to teach the true Kanienkeha, the true the language rooted within law, rooted within our ceremonies, within the Longhouse. So this is the purpose here in the Kanienkeha class here. So this means that for anybody who is a non-native person, if you're learning the language here, you're learning it for a very specific intent. You're not here to learn a language as a pastime or just to have another language under your belt, because the Kanienkeha language is only gonna do you good, or you can only benefit or exercise it by speaking it. And you can only speak it within a very specific context, within a context of law and peace. There is nothing within our language that is outside of law, that is not dealing with law. There is nothing in our language that is outside of peace, that's not dealing with peace. So every aspect of your life, when a non-native person comes into contact with the original peoples, you know that it is supposed to be in accordance with the Deganediahade, with the two-row wampum. And in accordance with the two-row wampum, there is certain protocols or behaviors that are expected. So this means that in the two-row wampum relationship, this means it is two opposing viewpoints or two opposites anyways. And when they come together within within peace, within the two-row wampum, then this means that it's basically if, let's say, if I violated you, if I'd done something to you, in order for us to have the proper relationship now, then this means that we must resolve, we must reconcile our issues. So tonight, we're going to talk about something very specific here, and people may wonder where this is going or even wonder how this applies, tonight we're going to take you on a little journey back in time, and that will deal with things that have happened in the past, address things that have happened. For instance, pretty much everybody has heard, you must know by now, if you're a non-native person, you must have heard of residential schools. This is where the non-native society, through their so-called government and their religions, Catholic Church, kidnapped the native children throughout Turtle Island, on both sides of the imaginary border in the so-called United States and here in so-called Canada, that they kidnapped our children for a very specific purpose. It was a military purpose, to brainwash our children, to teach our children the corrupted ways of the non-native. And then when they are done brainwashing our children, then they release them back into our communities. This practice is an age-old practice, military practice, that was first developed by Rome. It is called a fifth column. Now, a fifth column is, again, it's a military maneuver exercise where if you got your enemy in the center, well, you got 4 columns coming from 4 different directions. It's not those 4 different columns that are even going to engage. They're just there to pose a threat, to be there visually. The one that really engages in the fifth column is the fifth column, which is the one that's internal. And so just like right now today, from the original people's perspective, from the Kanienkeha perspective, for 500 years, we have been engaged in war, still, right to the second. Now, anybody who says that they're not, these are not Kanienkeha people. These are people who have been successfully assimilated, which means they are not native. They may have native skin, look a little bit native, and a lot of them may even speak the languages, but their minds are as the non-native. And so this makes them the fifth column, the poison within us. And this is what fills every so-called office of every so-called band system, tribal system on a so-called state side. It is all traitors to our people. And these are people who themselves have broken our own treaty of the Two-Row Wampum by breaking our own laws. And so tonight we're going to discuss something. We're going to touch something that no one would ever imagine. And I'll tell you, by the time this night is through, everybody is going to have, everyone is going to be exhausted. We are going to be in a quite an exercise, quite an effort tonight. And a lot of it may not be in Kanienkeha, but there's going to be keywords that is necessary to have these words spoken, to have them exposed to the world, because it will be words that have not been spoken before. Okay, so before we get into this, we're just going to go over a few of the previous classes, a few of the words, just as a recap, so people can understand how we got to this stage now tonight, because this has been an evolving thing. And even for the person who is going to be speaking, they may not have realized how this Kanienkeha class has been an evolution up to the point of where we are going to be tonight. Okay, so let's just go over real fast, if we can share even just the first, we're going to share the classes. We're just going to go through, we're not going to speak the words, we're just going to go through the words, and I'm going to pinpoint key words to you that Wayaguru has taught us now, the concepts. Okay, so
it's actually the one of the black wampum.
Oh, that's the first one. Ooh, this is perfect. The way things have worked out, and Wayaguru you'll see too as the night goes on. This is going to be a surprise to you. This is as much as a surprise to me as when I first heard this. as guaranteed, everybody's going to be shocked and surprised. Okay, so the first class, but it is about the black wampum. So it is very fitting into where we're going tonight. Okay, so I'm only going to read the words in English and just the ones that are pertinent for tonight. So this was the first class. Let's just go through the words. If you can scroll down.
Well, actually, that's it. It was not a long class.
That's it. Well, where does it say? What are you saying, black wampum?
Because that's exactly what the day that the black wampum was presented. So,
but it's not about the black wampum.
Yeah, it's the day that it was presented.
This class, where does it say black wampum?
Last and Agora to be applied 2 days after the second new moon. That's how we entitled the class. Scroll back. I'm not catching what you're saying. Scroll down. Our pathways. Okay, go. That's it for the first class. Let's move on to the second class. There's, again, just so that you know, there's keywords only in each class that we're going to take, I'm just going to mention them so that these words will be in your mind to know how this story unfolds tonight. Okay, so the second class. Is the body parts, you want to go there?
Body parts, I don't know, let's just go scroll through them really fast. I'll see the word that I'm looking for.
It's not going to be that fast, that's why I'm asking. So,
but she's opening the very beginning of all the Kanienkeha class. You mean the first one that we had with this? Yeah, it's the new series basically.
What is no? I'm not going to the last ones. I don't know.
What are you talking about?
I don't know.
The Kanienkeha classes that we've been doing here Saturday nights?
Yes, that's exactly what we
What
are
else are you talking about?
I don't know.
Because it's one of the last ones. So I think
it's because I don't know what is it that has to be shared then. So just
okay, just show me the class.
Well,
just show me the words.
what it is.
I can't see it. It's too small. Okay, just scroll through it. Let's go through it. Okay, not in here. Next class. There are some things, like we said last week, that we are going to have to go over, though, in the readdress some of the words. We won't do that now, but just bear with us until we get the classes up here. How many classes did we do now?
8.
8? Mary Cole, you can't get one of them on there so it'll be ready to share? Try getting the 5th one on there, on yours. Okay, what's this one here? Okay, keep going. Right there. The part, yes, this is where we were talking about law. I agree in law, I disagree in law. So here, to understand that the Kanienkeha language, again, it's all about law. Here, inside the brain. Now, to know that inside the brain, of course, this is where all of our thoughts and where everything is formulated. So inside the brain, we have to have that the balance, Gayandawana. Gayandawana in our language is a direct reference to the bowl game, but which is the balance in all things. And so here tonight, we're going to be talking about something that unequalizes the brain, that destabilizes the brain. Okay, let's keep going. There's the one where I'm looking for, what did it say? I'm looking for law. The person has an issue, so they want to know the well. Which, does anybody remember which class that was? I think it may have been the 4th or 5th. Huh? Okay, you know what? This is taking too long. We're not getting to
It is the
classes.
one for March 13th. So
I'm just gonna speak to you about what it is about, because this is taking too long. As there was parts in law, when a person comes into the nation, there are specific things that they would want. And so the words that we learned about where or who is the well, the person says that they have an issue that they need to have resolved. Okay, does anybody know where that is?
Yeah, we have it. It's
Okay.
already-
Can I see that? Can you make that bigger?
Efforts management.
Okay, I'm looking for the path. Now, this is where, again, if somebody comes into the nation and says, I'm looking for the path, again, this will tell you that they have an issue of law. There's something that they need to have resolved. Now, in any other Kanienkeha class, Wayagiro, just for you to affirm or whatever, did you ever hear this term come up before? Did you ever use this or teach anybody else this term, that I'm looking for the path in law?
No, not in law, just looking for a path. Yeah.
Okay, for yourself, if somebody said that to you, I'm pretty sure that's not the kind of dialogue that you hear.
No, there's a word for that, generasirizaks. That's looking for the path in law.
Okay, when you hear that somebody's gonna say to you, I'm looking for the path, I'm looking for law, what does it tell you? What does it reveal to you?
Well, for me, if somebody comes up and says generasirizaks, you know they're no idiot, so that there's something in law that they want to talk about, because they're talking about Oyana, generasirizaks, because they pretty well can take care of themselves, but they don't know about the law of whatever's bothering them and how it pertains to them or how they should handle it. So that's when you go to somebody and say, I want to go generasirizaks. I'm looking for the path in law to approach such and such a thing.
Okay, is that the word that we have in that Kanienkeha class? Generasirizaks? Or is it a different word?
Gerihuizaks, we have
You're looking at it, I can't see it.
Gary Wizards.
Gerihuizaks.
Okay, let's
Oh, yeah,
use
no, yes, there is the first one. Generasirizaks is the first one.
generasirizaks. Okay, this is the word that we're gonna utilize tonight. Now,
Yeah.
mind you, this Kanienkeha class is gonna be very different than any other Kanienkeha class. It's gonna be very different than any Zoom or any meeting that we've ever had. This is a new area of interaction that we're going into, and we may not want the whole thing translated into Kanienkeha, but there will be key parts. Now, Wayagerdu, in listening to the story that you're gonna hear, it's gonna be up to you, and we're gonna have to find words also in law or look for sentiments in law that will apply to the story that you are about to hear. Okay, so everybody, this is within the protocols or the process of so-called, of what everybody would know of reconciliation. Now, reconciliation, when you have two opposing sides, again, you only have reconciliation because one side has violated or done something wrong. And so then you must reconcile. And reconciling does not come from the person who is on the receiving end, from a victim. Reconciling has to be done from the person who is the initiator, from the person who has victimized or initiated the process. And so here we're just going to go into now a discourse or a dialogue, and bear with us, everybody. This is uncharted territory. We have never been here before. I do not think that any, I don't think that any Native person has been in this here before. I think I just felt the floor shake again. Anyways, this is a new thing, so bear with us. We might not know what we're saying. We might be uneasy, but everybody will ask to be very mindful, be very focused to assist the person. It's not to assist like you're going to be offering words for them to say, but to assist spiritually. You're going to see, you're going to hear, you're going to know what we mean. Okay, so now we just go into uncharted territory. So Wayagerdo, listen very close. You're gonna be the one that's gonna have to identify certain things here. So we're gonna go through the story first, and then we'll address the key points and the things that may be translated. Okay, so that's the best that I could set it up here. I would say come here and come and tell your story.
Hello everyone, I'm Marie-Claude. I'm the great-granddaughter of Marie-Louise, the granddaughter of Yvette, and the daughter of Francine. I act as Turo, as temporary Bear Clan representative in the Life Givers Nation. And I'm here honoring the Turo Wampu and what I'm about to share. Sorry, I'm gonna start by saying I had a dream during Wednesday night. I actually reported that dream to Stuart. I actually dreamt that we were in council and Stuart was standing and he said, who is the well? And in the dream, I said, Ungaye nawera. I interrupted him and I said, Ungaye nawera. And Stuart turned and said, no, he was surprised I was interrupting him. And I just said, I'm practicing my Kanienkeha. And that was the end of my dream. I've been really so passionate about learning Kanienkeha. It's I've memorized all the classes so far, all the words, all the sentences, and I feel it's like a brain surgery that is happening in my mind. I can almost feel it physically. And I reported my dream to Stuart, and he said that he also thought that it was linked to the story I'm about to tell you. And it was actually caused because my auntie, my mom's sister, came Thursday. So I had that dream Wednesday night, and then she was at my house Thursday. Last time she was at my house is 12 years ago. And we had a really super long conversation. It's just that I was always abroad and we never really got around to really speaking, her and I. So we had an amazing conversation and about so many things, but she brought the subject. She said, yeah, well, you didn't have it really easy with your dad. And I said, yeah, pretty intense stuff, clearly. And she says, oh, I wonder if you know everything. And I'm like, all right. And I've known of something that my dad did since I'm 13 years old. And so that was with me throughout, ever since. But I didn't have any details. I was 13, so I was shocked, of course, but it really profoundly impacted my entire life. And so that's what we talked about with my auntie. So the story is that my dad, used to work for the CN Rail, and he went on a formation in Manitoba, in Gimli, Manitoba. It was quite a few weeks formation he had to go to. And that is taking place in 1973. My dad goes there for formation, and he is told that he is on native territory and that he should never leave the perimeters of the CN, whatever building he's at, that it's absolutely necessary that everybody stays in and don't go out. My dad and two other men left the CN place. This is, of course, you will understand, I have no proof of that, you know, needless to say, but this is what has been told to me. So my dad and two other men left the perimeters. This is all information I got from my aunt, because what she says is that this story is known by practically all my family, basically. So my dad and two other men leave this place, and they're drunk, and they encounter an 18 years old Native woman, and they raped her. The three of them raped her. So that woman was with me ever since. I've been thinking of her constantly, like not constantly, but you can imagine, you know, she, you know, I always wonder about her, and I even wonder if I have a little sister or a little brother out there. And what happened next is, this is also, my aunt told me this, is that the brother of the victim heard about what these monsters did, and he decided to go after them. And one of these men, he actually cut his testicles. So right after this, I'm told that these three men were sent out back home, and they lost their job, and the CN Rail said about my dad that he couldn't stay there. He was just missing my mother so much after 2 weeks of being in Gimli, Manitoba. He was missing her so much they had to send him back home, and they let him go. What my aunt tells me is that as soon as he got home, he was 2 weeks in bed. He couldn't go out. He was like completely terrorized. Of course, he was worried about some little parts that could go missing for him too. And he only spoke to my grandfather about it, who also worked for the the CN Rail. So the case was completely closed by the CN Rail and by the RCMP. They closed the case, they sent them back home, and everybody, almost everybody knew about it. Like where I come from, it's there's a train stop, there's a train station, so there's nothing around. Nobody works in the CN Rail road work, nobody. And it's just that municipality only. So there's a lot of people from my family that work in the CN Rail. And so everybody heard about this story. And I can't believe that nothing was done. And I'm at this stage where I had to actually survive my own trauma with my own dad. And I'm now sitting in front of you, and I can't not say anything about this, because it would be like just being part of that rape. And I'm sharing this first for the woman that I don't know if she's still alive. She would be 66, something around there, 66 or 67, maybe 65, in those areas today. And I wanted to share this because I know that what I do when I memorize the words, like I said, I memorized all the words so far. And I always have little tricks, little visual association. This is a a method I used to have in the school. I own a language school for 10 years, and this is the method that we used. So I have little stories for each of the words. And we had a class and we talked about treason and murder and rape. And rape, the visual association is actually linked to my dad. So every time I was studying, it was coming back and coming back. And it's like, now my aunt comes to my house and gives me all this information. So I wanted to speak about it during the Kanienkeha class because of just the chain of events. And I hope I'm not forgetting anything. Oh yes, I want to say, when my parents got divorced, I was 5 years old. My mother then they told her that this took place, but it seems that everyone knew before and nobody told her. And when they told her, she was in court. It was a crazy divorce. I don't know how many years it lasted. It lasted forever. My dad got the custody. I was raised with my dad. And in court, my mom said that. She said, well, he's raped this native woman. He was in Gimli. She gave all the dates. She gave everything, that the case, this and that. Nobody would hear her. So she even brought it in court, and nothing was nothing even happened. So I think that's the.
Okay, so the reason why here tonight in Kanienkeha class, you might think, hey, this is like political or whatever. Why is it in here? Because like we said, we're not learning Kanienkeha here to learn about knife, forks, and spoons, or to talk about the game last night, or to say hi, or to talk about your favorite movie. No, we're learning Kanienkeha here to relearn the language of peace, to relearn great law of peace, to make it a part of not only our lives as the original people, but through the two-world wampum, anybody that we are connected to in the non-native world, it must be in accordance with this relationship. The relationship must be that of the two-world wampum. And in order to have two-world wampum relationship, that means that if there is violation, if I violated the other side, or if I know of violation, I must correct it or I must reveal it. And so now here, what we are seeing, the reason why I say this is probably the first time, it is the first time ever, because we have never had a reconciliation with the non-native people. To hear the story that she reveals tonight is a story about man camps. Now, some of you right now know that across the country, man camps are becoming a little bit of an issue through Justin Trudeau's purchase of the $5 billion purchase of pipelines. And so now, as you know, there's a lot of man camps, especially in British Columbia, in Alberta, Manitoba, even here in Quebec, all over the place. And in these man camps, where they are always around the native people. And so what's revealed here is what we have known forever. You hear, or we have seen in the last year, on the West Coast, some of the native people out west, one in particular, everybody sees her on Facebook, Kanahos Manuel, that she's always talking about man camps. Now, this is in the here and now, and she's talking about man camps in a way that the current living generation doesn't believe it. Now, this was when Mary Claude was, she was just in the belly of her mother when this took place. So this is in 1973. The woman was 18 years old. So this place is, so let's see, 18 from 1973. What is that, 1950? I can't think. 53? I don't know. Anyways, and somebody figure it out. The thing is that in 1973, she was 18 years old. Now in Gimli, that's the name of the place? Gimli, Manitoba. Who are the people in Gimli, Manitoba, in that area? Are they Dene? Are they Anishinaabe? Are they
Ojibwe, are they Cree, Blackfoot? What are they? Anybody, if you know anybody in Grimley, Manitoba, who in 1973 was 18 years old and who was raped by 3 men in a CN rail man camp. This is the official railway of so-called Canada. This is Canada's railway, CN rail man camp. Now, the employees who CN is responsible for them and telling them not to go off, but to stay in their camp, and they leave and they rape an 18-year-old girl. Now think of this. I don't know what Grimley is like today. I don't know what the place is like, but I would imagine in 1973, it was a lot less than whatever it is now. I would imagine that there probably wasn't any bars for them to go to or whatever, or it probably wasn't such an easy thing to like just go and meet somebody. This had to have been premeditated. These 3 men had to have done this, discussed what they were doing, because if they were told to stay inside the camp and they leave, this identifies that it was a premeditated thing. Now, anybody knows anybody in Gimli, Manitoba, who maybe was raped in 1973, that was approximately 18 years old, and whose brother went and cut the balls off of one of the men who raped? Now, for that to happen, and for there to be no court case, identifies how the RCMP, the rapists, the criminals, the murderers, the pedophiles, this is RCMP. We say this because this is our collective experience, what the thugs known as RCMP. These are the monsters that kidnapped our children. So would it be such a surprise that a white man rapes a Native woman and the RCMP is not going to do a goddamn thing about it? Is that a surprise to anybody? That's not a surprise. This is something that we have known forever. Now think of this. This is just one thing. Our people are saying this all the time. Out west, like we said, right now you have this Kanienkeha manual identifying about the man camps and what goes on there and what kind of proof is there. You're never going to find any kind of proof because the RCMP are the lying scum that has been allowing such circumstances to exist by, of course, never prosecuting the white men that are guilty of such atrocities. So what this shows you right here is a conspiracy first of the 3 men that went off of their reservation to rape an 18-year-old Native girl. And then CN Rail, the official sponsor of these 3 rapists, covers it up. The RCMP covers it up. There's no court case, nothing. So this shows how the man camps has been not just something of the present. Man camps has been something of the past 500 years, and it's always the craziest men that are there, and they are always criminals. No matter how good they think they are, when they're in those man camps, it's like they're in a different, like they're in an alternate universe. And there's no more humanity for them. They get caught up like in like sharks in a feeding frenzy, where all it takes is one insane guy, and the rest are brought into the vortex with him. And so tonight, the reason why this is here, people may be thinking this is not the place for it. This is the place for it because we are learning Kanienkeha, and we are not teaching Kanienkeha to white people who are not within the process of the 2-row wampum. We are teaching this so that everybody, Native and non-Native alike, revisits our original relationship, and that's as friends. So what we see here now is this is the first time that we're seeing actual reconciliation. And we're doing it here in the Kanienkeha class because it's not going to happen in English. It's not going to happen in French. It's not going to happen in any other language. It's only going to happen here. It will only be done here. There's nobody else that is going to bring out this type of story. No one else who's going to address it. This is what we do here. We go right to the crux of the issue to be able to clear that table between us. If that table is supposed to be an interface, then we can't have rape. We can't have conspiracy that stems from criminals to organizations to so-called policing entities, right to the government. This is corruption on the table, so the table must be cleared. And so to clear the table, this is what must be done, what is being done now, again, for the first time, by Mary Claude. Think of this. I wouldn't even know what to begin to label it as. I could think of a bunch of very bad words, but to think of this, Mary Claude has been living with this all of her life. It's a male dominance that is there, that is not only within the father, but is encouraged, enabled by the system that, imagine, that you got to pay into. So imagine like Mary Claude has to pay taxes to that government, pay taxes to that government that does these things, that is a male dominant government, that does cover up rape, that does protect the white man when he is raping Native people. And so this tonight is something of a first. And so there's things here that Wayagirdo, what we want to pave a road for others, because if this is just one person's story, ask anybody in, I would say, first off, maybe get some information from this Canada House manual about the statistics on man camps, and you'll see that, okay, well, if this is happening, then why is nobody hearing about it? Why are you not hearing? Why is it not in court? Why are the police not constantly making arrests of white people? They won't do it because that's what they're here for. They're here to genocide. Now, you can say then, well, then if this is what the white people are here for, to genocide, then why are we having any kind of interaction with them? Well, when we say in the opening that regardless of where you have grown out of our mother, regardless of what color you are, what language you speak, we are all born of the same mother. All we have to do is go that far. We stop right there. We're all born of the same mother. And so it's really now a reverse racism that comes from the Native people that say, okay, here in Ganawagi, we hear, and it's really ridiculous because it's mostly coming from people who have white blood, who are prejudiced against the whites. But the people who have clans, the people who are born and raised in Longhouse and stuff like that, we're not prejudiced. We know that we have to fix their minds. We have to heal their minds. Their minds are not going to be healed in English, French, German, Spanish. Their minds will never be healed in those languages. Those are the languages of corruption. And so in any other time, I would say that in your story, that you would not have even gotten to this point of having it discussed, if not for the path that you're on of two-row wampum, of having interaction with the Longhouse, of learning Kanienkeha. I say learning Kanienkeha is the foundation to you here in being able to address these things, because when you go back and you look at all our Kanienkeha classes, these classes were groomed. They were groomed specifically for you. Maybe not just for you and your circumstance, but for every other non-native person who's out there like her, who is just sitting on the truth, who is not saying the truth, who know they are perpetuating lies by not telling the truth. This is not the first time that a native woman was raped by a white man, by a gang of white men, and who were protected by the rapists, the child molesters, the murderers, and the pedophiles, the RCMP. This has been going on for centuries, ever since, even before they were RCMP. This Kanienkeha class was designed for any non-native people that would seek out, that would come to the law and seek out the truth, that these are the things that you must get through first before you are going to sit at the base of the tree. Before any non-native person is ever going to get to sit at the base of the tree of great peace, you have to reconcile. Now, this is what she is doing, reconcile, bringing out such a huge thing. So we know that there is different forms of reconciliation, reconcile. Kanienkeha know that reconciling is not something that the victim does. The victim does not take any part in reconciling. It is the person responsible, the body responsible, that has to do the reconciling. And so here, like say for instance, if we went out and we hunted a deer, we got a deer, well, we would reconcile. It's not going to be the deer reconciling. It's going to be us reconciling with our action, what we had to do, what we had done in taking the life of this deer, and now to ask the essence of it or the spirit of it to now either live through us or join us or continue on this journey, but to know and to feel at ease is that we did not take the life of this thing, or we did not do it harm in vain or without any purpose, but that it was within the vein of love, with the intent of feeding our families, to making us strong. And when we do this, we identify that we're not killing a bunch of deer. We're only taking one, only what we need. So it's not like you're sitting there and a bunch of them are running by and they're going to get picked off, and some of them are thinking that, oh no, maybe us. No, the native people never do this. It is only what we need. So reconcile, it happens in a lot of different ways, in many different aspects of our lives every day. So Wayagerdu, what we're looking for is a non-native person who is seeking out law, seeking out truth, to they have an issue, that was one of the words, and they want to reconcile with past wrongs. I want to reconcile with past wrongs. While we're sitting here, I'm sure everybody can feel the weight of what was just said. Everybody has a connection to a story exactly like this. Everybody, native and non-native alike. Now, the native people speak of these stories. The non-native people never speak of these stories. This is the first time I, in my life, have ever heard directly, and I have never heard it passed down in the Longhouse by anybody saying that, oh, a non-native person has attempted and carried out reconciliation. We have never heard this. So this is a very heavy issue. It is a very crucial issue at this time. And in the very near future, some of you may find these words to be the only thing that help you keep your sanity. Okay, are we there? Do we have it yet?
Yeah, what I did on my computer is just too slow now. Yeah, there it is.
You want to take mine?
Oh no, some quit unexpectedly.
What?
I'll give you mine, yeah.
What happened?
Hang on.
Edith just got a new computer
No,
again.
no, it's not the new one. No, it's not the new one.
She has to install.
Well, she's still got an old junky computer, as do all of us. Radianera
Radianera Syrizax.
Sarizaks.
Yeah, and those are males. That's the masculine. Radianera Syrizax.
Okay, for tonight, specific here, for Mary Claude, this is her. It's something that's hit her. So would that be her word?
Well, yeah, of course, yes. She would be talking like for her father and the other two men.
Okay, all right.
Or families, the whole families might, if the whole families knew it, it would be looking for the same result. If they cared about those native women. Radianara Syrizax, Sira is the males. They are looking for the right path. And yeah, Radianara Syrizax, and then we'll build into it. Once, you don't want to say these words, eh? We're just gonna write them?
No, we're gonna say them. We're gonna go
Okay.
over them. No, I don't know. What do you think, Warrior Gerda? Would it be proper? We don't want to put a heaviness on anybody that it's not where it's not
No.
their.
We're gonna go, I've been thinking as you were talking, and I know how to go, so they're looking for the right path. And then we're gonna go where they broke the law.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so Radianara Syrizax.
Radianara Sarizaks.
Radianera Syrizax.
Radianera Syrizax.
Merrick,
Radianera Syrizax.
Steven,
Radianera Syrizax.
Janet,
Radianera Syrizax.
Mark,
Radianera Syrizax.
Will,
Radianera Syrizax.
Elsa,
Sorry. Radianera Syrizax.
Harold,
Radianera Syrizax.
and Chrisette.
Radianera Syrizax.
Radianera Syrizax, circle.
Okay.
So here then, the next thing it's got to imply, because when we're thinking of law application, you think of when somebody commits murder, that not only is that person dealt with, but the whole family is buried. Now, people don't know what that means, buried. Don't think that, oh, the whole family is killed and we buried them or we buried them alive. No. To be buried means, if the whole family is buried, this basically means it's like on the lines of like excommunication, that their voice is never heard again. Not just the person guilty, but their family, because nobody is a person unto themselves. Everybody is connected to somebody, and unlike the insanity of Christianity or religions, we are our sisters and our brothers' keepers. We do not have that corruption in our mind that we are not our brother's keepers, because law teaches us that each of us have to know law and have to uphold it. And so here then, it's got to identify, I want to reconcile with past wrongs done, something like from my bloodline, or that my bloodline is responsible for, or in my bloodline.
Okay, that's the word. Sonaderiho de watu. Sonaderiho de watu. They have erred in law.
Sonaderi,
What de watu.
Sonaderi. Okay, can you put a space after sona? And dirty? What they want to do. What they want to do. Can you say that?
Sonaderiho de watu.
What they want to. That's more like one word. Okay, we'll leave that like that. Okay, so
If yours are ready, I'll say it and then we can go.
yeah.
Sonaderiho de watu.
Sonaderi what they want to.
Sonaderi what they want.
Sonaderi what they want.
Merrick,
Zonaderi Watewatu.
Stephen,
Sonateri Watewato.
Janet,
Sonatari Wadewatan.
Mark,
Sonateri Watewatu.
Will, Will,
Sonatari Watewato.
Elsa,
Sonatari Wadawadu.
Harold,
Zonateri Watewatu.
Chrisette,
Sonateri Watewatu.
Sonaderi Wadewato. And the order for today is the Longhouse, then Marie-Claude, Edith, and Merrick, Stephen, Janet, Mark, Will, Elsa, Harold, Chrisette, then me. Circle.
Okay, they have erred in law, and we must address it.
Okay, we must address it. Okay. But I wanted to put another word before that though, and then we
Okay.
can go to this one.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so take that away, Edith. Okay. This is a strong word, the one that's coming up. Tehonadun Hagaya. That's males again, all those three males, or any male that does this violation of a life giver. Tehonadun Hagaya. And it actually means, I was a little more looking for the English because the Kanienkeha is so strong. It means like, it actually means, see, Gaya, it's biting at you. Your own brain is biting at you. So their minds are eating at them. Tehonadun Hagaya. It's, you see that when a person has killed somebody and they know they're caught, but they can't admit it. So they just keep asking them questions, and finally the mind just eats them right out, and they confess, and then they're okay. You know, it's eating at their mind so terribly. I mean, I wouldn't. That's why we don't want to make that mistake, because it's going to happen to us. I don't care who says, "Oh, I'm a tough person." No, your mind is something you got to deal with. First.
Okay, so how about it? Would this be okay underneath that? Put in brackets, torment.
That's it. That's what it means. The Honadun Hagaya is torment.
Okay, and the honadu, put the apostrophe there. The honadu hagaya. Would that be okay like that? The honadu?
The Honadun Hagaya. Yeah. Because people can see that, you know, people in the general, like if you were in a courthouse, they could see, even no matter what a bald-faced liar you could be, as it drags on, the person, their mind's saying, come on now, you can lie, you're not lying to me. So he's fighting, he's having a court battle right inside his head because he knows what's right or what's right and wrong. So that's the Honadun Hagaya. Their minds are being tormented.
The honadu hagaya.
Behonadu hagayon.
Dehonadon Hagayan.
Teona don't hagayan.
Tehonadon Hagayon.
Tehonadon Hagayan.
Tehonaton hagayan.
Tehonadon Hagayan.
Will.
Tehonadon Hagaya.
Honadon Hagayon.
The Honadun Hagaya.
Tehonadon Hagayon.
Yeah,
The Honadun Hagayan. Circle.
What was the next one? We must address it.
Okay.
Okay, for anybody that's with us right now, if you heard the story that Mary Claude related, you know, this is a heavy story. Now, right now, when you're hearing it, it may be too soon, like to have it sink in your mind enough to be able to comprehend it. So throughout this evening, you yourself think about words or phrases or something you would think about in here that we might have as a word or something need to be addressed in this issue. So everybody think on that line.
Guayaquil, I just added the I at the end. That's right, huh? Onyxy?
yeah, okay, I left it out. Yeah, I
just-
left it out. Okay, good, you caught it. Onyxy on the Warihuara.
Onekti ondewari huana.
Onyxi antewariwaro.
Onyxy antewarihuana.
Onetski antewariwahan.
Onexi Antewaniwaha.
Onexi Andewari Warren.
Onexi antewariwara.
Good. Yeah.
Onexti ante watewara.
Onexi Andewari Warren.
Excellent.
Onexi Antewaniwaha.
Onekchi Antewahiwara.
Onexti Ondewadiwara. Circle.
Okay, what we're really saying is we must, on the Warihuara, is put the law up. It's the issue now, so we have to put it up. We must address the law. Put up the law. Yeah, not in the Warihuara.
Okay, would that mean we must address it in law?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's one of the biggest laws you could break.
Put it like that in English. We must address it in law. And then put in brackets, raising the law up. Okay, a young girl was raped.
Warren. Onexi. Antewahi.
You know, while everybody's sitting there thinking, just think about all the things that all the women have to go through every day. What the Native women have to go through. You may not see a Native woman getting raped today, but she is still a victim of that because somewhere in her past, in her line, one of the women were abused or raped or murdered or one way or another violated by the non-Native men, either as an individual man or a systemic abuse or rape or violation. So
Okay,
Native women,
Okay, sorry.
Native women are going through these realities every day and nobody ever addresses it. Native people talk about it, but now what we're doing through this Kanienkeha class is we're gonna have the non-Native people talk about it because it's you that has to talk about it. It's not us. It's not us that has to keep talking about the non-Native behavior. It's the non-Native people that have to talk about their behaviors. And if it isn't your specific behavior, then it is the behavior as a collective that you can identify that you see as corrupt and that you don't want nothing to do with. But to identify that, you must point it out as being illegal. You must bring forward such corruptions. You must uncover it, expose it. There is every day, the RCMP is aiding and abetting criminals who are violating natives every day, but in particular, violating Native women. Everybody knows, you hear the most about natives all the time. You hear missing and murdered Native women. How is that happen? How do you think that happens? It is a systemic thing that is against women in general. When you see that that non-Native women have been killed for centuries for being witches or whatever, enslaved, whatever, you know how bad non-Native women have had it for centuries. So you know that it is a thing that has been perpetuated from across the great waters. They have brought a poison, a cancer of the brain with them, where they violate their own mothers. This is an insanity in the men, not the men, in the guys' minds of the non-Native guys. This is an insanity, a corruption, an imbalanced mind that is perpetuated generation after generation. Because if this is something that Mary Claude is just addressing now, something that happened over 40 years ago, then just imagine how many times was it perpetuated since then? And if that person, those guilty people, were able to act like that, then just think since then, they did not reconcile, they did not straighten out or correct their actions. So you just think of all of the corruptions that are permeating all of humanity, not just the Native people, all of humanity, and the target is our mothers. This is a common thing that all women of the earth find themselves being attacked by. But when you sit in your country over there, and a country over there, and in your community over there, and in your house over there, and another one over there, and all separate, then no women on earth are addressing the collective corruption that the men are doing to them. This is what we're going to address. We're going to address it all the way. This is the tip of the iceberg. You know of other examples. We're going to address all of them. We're going to bring it all out to show the complete insanity of the non-Native male, not as an individual, as a collective. Because it was when those three men got together and they conspired, you know that they had to.
They didn't just end up all together somewhere out of their man camp and just by coincidence all raping the same woman. No, this had to be conspired amongst them. So we gotta search deep. Go searching deep in your mind for corruption such as these things and bring them out. Because what this means now for Mary Claude is that this is a thing in her line that she has discovered. And once it is discovered, then and only then can you work it out of you. So this is where a lot of non-native people are thinking and saying that, hey, that wasn't me, that was 100 years ago, I didn't do none of that. No way. You never worked it out of you. You never corrected it. You never addressed it. There is only one way to do that. And this is what you are seeing tonight. This is two-row wampum in action. When non-native people come to the native people, if we do not insist on the corruptions of them separating from corruptions, then they will bring their corruptions with them. And if we allow them to bring their corruptions into our lives, into our houses, into our communities, we will be just like them. This is the way two-row wampum works, by enacting law on both sides where justice must prevail, where truth must be spoken. So this is at the heart here. So everybody think deeply. This is not a light issue tonight. Okay, all right, sorry about that, Wagner.
Okay, look, that word, Konichagoyua, that's a young girl. Now, when we talked about the longhouse just being formed, remember we talked about Nukwa, C-O-N-O-H? O-N-O-H in the second word. There's these guys didn't only rape the young girl, that one girl. Everybody in that house got raped. Even the men got raped. So you're violating that whole house, which means the whole Confederacy. So you realize now what you broke a law. It wasn't just that one girl. In a white man's law, it's that one girl. But in our law, you violated the whole 5 nations or 6, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, then in English, we're gonna put something at the end of rape there, put in brackets. Violating her whole house, comma, community. Oh, wait, before house.
Nation.
Violating her clan, comma. Clan should be capital. Violating her clan, her whole house, her community, and her entire nation. And the relations that are dependent on that. Okay, so here, this is where you see, where you really get grasp the idea of that. We're talking about concepts, not word for word translation. So here, this is a big concept here, where the word that Waiageru uses, come, we can't see the whole. Where you see the word that Waiageru uses, it's a very small word. Now, just the second word there. No, don't say. That's a very small, short word, but look at how much is there in English. And even that, what's there in English, can even be expanded on.
That is a very generality, which is in the brackets they're explaining. Okay, so let's,
You wanna try it?
well, wait, let's fix the word to where we can say it easy. Dayu, we'll do the second word.
Dayun da de nu don't say. Dayun da de nu don't say.
Dade.
I would break it, yeah, there, da de, and then one word, nu don't say. Dayun da de nu don't say.
Put at the end, after, between the N and the S, put a comma there. Nuntu.
Yeah,
Say.
dayun da de nu don't say.
Dayu dade nuntu. Say. Yeah, okay. And the first word?
Goni chago yun, goni
Gani. Yeah, right there. Gani.
jago. Okay, goni jago yun, dayun da de nu don't say. Goni
Gani.
jago yun, dayun da de nu don't say.
Gani jago yu dayu dade nu ze.
Yeah,
Ganichako yon. Hein?
You.
Dayon dadino. C'est non.
dayun da de nu don't say.
Dayon dadinu. Tunse.
Gani jago yon na dayon dade no don se.
Gani Daigo Yon Jean. Dayon Danin. Ah. Can you say it all again, please?
Goni jago yun, dayun da de nu don't say.
Gani Dayo Jun A. Dayu Dare Dare Nyu Chonse.
That's the one, yeah.
Goni jage yu a. Dayu dade nu don't say.
Yeah, yeah.
Gani jago yon
Dayun da de nu don't say.
dayon dade nun son say. Dayon dade nun don't say.
That's the one, yeah.
Gani Chako Yuna. Chiahon Tate
Dayun da de nu don't say.
Dayon Tate Nun Tunse.
Yeah, yeah.
Gani jago yona dai yo da de nu dunse.
Yeah.
Kenny jago yuna dayon dade nun don't say.
Very good, also.
Goni jago yu a. Dayu dade nu don't say.
Gani jago ta. Oh, sorry. Dayon dade no to say.
Yeah.
Gani jago yun tayo dade nu dunse. Circle.
Very good.
Okay, this is where we gotta identify. They have split her sky. Yeah, we did it, but this is where it's gotta be put. This is the proper place to emphasize where people will grasp about the sky being split. In our terminology, when it's identified that her sky or the sky is split, it's usually, or it's always about our mother. Our mother's sky has been split, or a bad young boy has split his mother's sky. It's usually on that level, or else nation level. And then only when it's at nation level, then of course the guys are included in that. But when we say split sky, this is the ultimate violation of a person, the ultimate corruption that a person could experience, further beyond than just what one person can do. It undoes
it's about the undoing of creation. So splitting the sky is something that you never use as just a light reference or a light terminology. It is something that is very heavy and that is utilized to be very descriptive. So somebody knows and understands we're talking about the ultimate corruptions. Okay. They have split her sky. Okay, how?
I would split it at what, June?
June, that day.
That day, yeah. And then nu wara
Kasi, yeah.
kasi. What you da de nu wara kasi. What you da nu wara kasi.
Wajun dade nu warakasi.
Excellent.
Nu warakasi.
Wajunta de nu waragasi.
Wachon tare nyon warakasi.
Wajun tare nu warakase.
Wachun tare nun warakatsi.
Wachun tare no wara kasi.
Kasi.
Katsi.
Wajun dade nun wara kase.
Yanere.
Wajunta de nu waragasi.
Wajun tare nun warakasi.
Wajun warenate de kasi.
Wajun dade nuwarakasi. Circle.
Good, good.
And everybody must know about it.
Everybody must- okay.
See, this is one of the things here today that even our own people now are thinking like the non-native society, where if something happens to them or something, you know, something happens in law, or maybe something happens to you in school, something on a public level, but you don't want it to be known. People don't want those things to be known. They want nowadays to be, they believing in the ways of the non-native, where if it's something in law, it's private. That, oh, you don't tell everybody. Like, you know, like you can have a child rapist living right next to you, and it's you wouldn't know about it because they do not inform the people. Within our law, that you take the ultimate application of law, which would be a dead body, a dead person. If you find a dead person and you don't know how they died, you are to immediately, whoever finds the body, run back to the community or where the people are and give out a very specific yell, a very specific call, identifies to everybody that this is crucial. We must come out. It demands our attention. And so the only time you hear that, everybody would know somebody died. We must get out there because it is something of a mystery. Now, if it is something of a mystery, then it means the truth must be known. So you have to call all the people immediately, and all the truths must be presented to everybody who is present. So then everybody collectively can solve the problem. In this way, just imagine there's 10 people. Let's imagine we're at that place in 1973 where this girl got raped, and there's 10 people. You know, the RCMP, they can just push it away, squelch it, and it'll never be heard. But if there's 10 people there and you got all those 10 people, okay, who knows about this? Who was the last one seen? What this girl, who, whatever would be discovered? The people would have the truth known. But in the non-native society, the corruption of the so-called judicial system is in favor of the criminal, always in favor of the criminal.
And so when our own people think that we don't want our issues to be known, oh no, keep it quiet. This is actually detrimental to us. If we follow the ways of the white man in application of law, we will be just as lawless as he is. We will be just as corrupt as he is. So whenever there is any kind of violation of anybody, even on the smallest level, it is to be brought out in front of the people right away so that the guilty party will be discovered. Because as the words that Wayagirdo gave just a few words back, they are tormented. They will be tormented from the inside, and the people will see that. They will be discovered. The white man's law is a corruption. It is in favor of the criminal because they are all criminals in a non-native society. In the system of democracy and economics that they got, these are thieves, pirates. These are not good people. So you know that they are never going to have anything that is in favor of justice. So their just judicial system, so-called, where it says, do it this way, you know that is corruption. Everything about the non-native judicial system is corruption. This is the way to have truth and justice prevail within the people, because then it is the people's power to attain justice. It's the people's responsibility to do that. So, okay, where are we?
Okay, who's writing? Edith? Okay, on your go. On your go. And then RHI. WA.
RHI, he said.
RHI, yeah. WA, okay, now. Yagori what? Oh, Yagori Huadoga. We just put it in law. We got to let them know through law.
Okay, Anya.
Onexi.
On it.
Oh, okay. Onyagori. Wadogase. Okay. This is actually a pretty easy word. Well, maybe for me to say, but Onexi Aguego Onyagori Wadogase.
Onexi Aguego Onyagori Wadogase.
Onexi Aguego Onyagori Wadogase.
Excellent.
Is there something wrong? I just heard oh. Oh. Onexi Aguego Onyagori Wadogase.
Onetski Aguegan Anigori Watoganse.
Onexi Aguego Onyagori Watoganse.
Excellent.
Onexi Aguego Onyagori Wadoganse.
Onexi Aguego Onyagori Watoganse.
Ganse.
Yeah. Aganse.
Onexti, Onguego, Onya Gori Wadongonse.
Yagori Wadogase.
Just a couple more.
Onexi Aguego Anya Gore Watoganse.
Oyagori Wadogase.
Anya Gore Watoganse.
Okay, good.
Onexi Aguego Onyagori Watogonse.
Perfect.
Onexi Aguego Anyakori Watogase.
Very young at it.
Onexi Aguego Onyagori Wadogase. Circle.
All right. It's very good, guys.
Okay, so within this line then of what's being identified, and everybody must know about it, the people must exercise their power in law must exercise the law giving them power, however you can formulate that, because by the people exercising law, they're empowered. So by it must be the people to exercise, to uphold law. And maybe in brackets, exercising their power. Yeah, it must be the people to uphold law, exercise their power. So here tonight, when we go through this dialogue, you'll see while we get to this point, it's the people that must uphold the law, exercising their power. This is what we're seeing tonight in this story that comes out, that it's really Mary Claude exercising that power, bringing that out, and when that is brought out, it's the individual like massaging it out of them, even though it's not her that is guilty of this in any way, it is in her bloodline. And you think today, you always hear, number one, you'll hear from white guys saying, again, this cliche, it wasn't me, that was somebody else, it was hundreds of years ago, I wasn't even born yet. You know, when it is your family, you know, if your family did something and they said, well, it was the Gilberts, it was the Mayos, you know, there's, you cannot deny that. That is something that is a stigma that is placed on the people. So when the people don't uphold law, when I don't uphold it on my brother, then I can be grouped together with my brother if my brother is corrupt. So this is the reason why the people have to activate their own power. They have to exercise it. And in this world today, all of our people are always talking about law, great law of peace. That's why you hear that all the time, right?
They talk about it, they don't do it. Nothing.
Exactly. You'll never see anybody who is connected or who talks about two-row wampum. You'll never see them facilitating anything such as this would happen tonight. This is really the deepest form of reconciliation that it's really it's going to take a while for us to absorb this, to really comprehend the depth of this. This is the beginnings of even an inquiry as to the RCMP shoving rape under the rug because it's a Native woman, thereby revealing not only the racism of the rapists, criminals, murderers, and pedophiles, but also the genocide of the RCMP. So this is a very deep thing. It's not something that that is going to be fully comprehended in the right here and now. You'll be talking about this during the week. You'll be talking about it next week. Whenever there will be attempts at reconciliation in the future, you will utilize this as a template, as a gauge. Oh yeah, well, reconciliation, you're talking about what? You're talking about petty things when there are issues on the table, such as this ugly story that was just brought up. Okay, anyways, all right, do we have the term yet? No. Why you Gerda?
You ready?
Yeah.
Onyx, Onexi agwego o yagori huatoga se.
Onekti agwegu anyakori watoga se. We did that. We did that.
Oh, okay.
No, the term, the people must uphold the law.
Okay.
And for it to mean exercising their own power, you know, however you would
Okay, ungwe.
get that.
Sorry, I can't change alarms yet.
Title will you give to this class?
What?
The title that you would give to this class, reconciliation.
Reconciliation? Yeah. Yeah. Reconciliation.
Okay. Ungwe onexi oye yanera seradoga te.
Ungwe onekte anye yaner.
Oye ya.
Anye. So put a thing at anye. Yanera after the H.
Serado.
Can you say that again? The whole thing?
Ungwe onexi oye yanera seradoga te. I would split it at the O and K again. Yeah. Oye yan. The other ones are easy. So oye yanera seradoga te.
Ungwe onekti anye onyera serado ate.
Ungwe onekti oye yanera seradogonte.
Ungwe onexi anye yanera seradogante.
Ongwe onetski anye anera seradogante.
Very good.
Onwe, onexi, onye yanar sado gante.
Onkwe onexi yane yanara serata.
Okay, I'll say that last word for you. Onye yanera seradogante.
Anye
Yanera
yanara serat
dogante.
seratoga. Toga de.
Dogante.
Seratoga de.
Yanere.
Ongwe onetsi anye yanera serato gande.
Very good.
Will?
Oh, sorry. Ungui unexte onye ra nera sera don de.
Onye yanera seradogante.
Onye ya re.
Onye yanera seradogante.
Onye ya nera sera don de.
Yanere.
Onwe onexi anye yanera seradogante.
Yanere.
Ungwe onexi onye yanara seratogonte.
Very good.
Ongwe onexi anye yanera sarogate.
Lisa?
Ongwe onexi anye yanere sarogate.
Yanere.
Go ahead, Lisa.
Onge on kase onye
Onekji. Onekji.
onekti
Onye yanara seradoga.
onye era in era
Yanera seradoga.
onye I can't what's the second onye
Onye yanera
onye yanara Sarag
seradoga.
Sarago go
Seradogante.
Saragodante.
Ah.
Okay.
Ongue onexi onye yanera serado cante. And just to say that it's 15 to 9.
Already?
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna change a comma on there. Tell us what you think there, Wayagerdo. Anye Yanerda Serda Dogate. Yeah, there for me it's easier with that comma there as opposed to Serda Do Gate.
Okay, where did you put it?
Yanerda Serda Dogate. Yeah.
Onye yanera seradogante. Okay, all
That
right.
sounds good.
Onye yanera seradogante.
Okay, if we got 15 minutes left, okay, just to say this from Mary Claude's perspective. It's got to be a heavy thing. It's got to be very heavy. I need to clear my line. You know, the bloodline. Maybe my bloodline. I need to clear my bloodline of any corruption. Now, this is something that is not known in the non-native society because guaranteed, everybody in the non-native society, you have corruption in your bloodline. That's a guarantee. And you don't have to be going back very far to find it. You might find it even in your lifetime. And if not, maybe just in your parents' lifetime. If not, you know, you don't have to go any further than your great-grandparents' bloodline. But to know that it has been corruptions in the bloodlines for hundreds of years now, at least the last 500 years. So this is a concept that is not known in the non-native world, to clear your bloodline of corruption, to make sure that knowing how DNA works, that things are passed on one generation to the next. So let's say my ancestors are handing me down a drum all the way down the generation. And then maybe in my father's time, maybe they give me, instead of a drum, a rattle or something. And so if my bloodline is about drums, then I can't have rattles in my bloodline. So I have to clear my bloodline. I have to be who I am, what I am supposed to be. And anybody who has corruptions in their bloodlines, you cannot be who you are supposed to be unless those corruptions are addressed by you, even if it is a corruption of your great-great-great-grandfather. So this is something here. I need to clear my bloodline of any corruption. This is something that is the key of the issue here. In any non-native people coming into a two-row wampum relationship, that you have to clear your corruptions. You cannot come to the table with corruptions, with you carrying corruptions behind you. So this is really a very big thing. Okay, anyways, where would we break that word?
Oskene. Guan. K-W-E-N, I forgot an N and W-E-N-H. Split it at the H. Askenaguan sa se.
Saceruni.
Saceruni. Askenaguan saceruni.
Even that one there, leave that comma. Oh, saceruni. It's easier to say it one word.
Think so? Okay.
Saceruni.
Okay, and then we gotta, after we'll then go Saceruni space, and then we'll put Wahetka. W-A-H-E-T-K-E-N. Wahetka. And that's, like you say, corruption. Us, we call it ugliness. Wahetka. Onekti, askena bon Saceruni Wahetka.
Okay, put corruption in brackets and put ugliness as the main word. Yeah, and this is really what's going on here tonight, addressing an ugliness. Isn't UGL?
I guess not.
Okay, I'll read it and then we'll run with it. Onekti askenagon saceruni wahetka.
Onekji askaneguan saceruni wahetka.
Onexi anskenegua saceruni wahetka.
Onexi askenegua saceruni wahetka.
Onetski askene gwen saceruni wahetka.
Onetski askenegua saceruni wahetka.
Onexi askene gua saceroni wahetka.
Onexi askane quahen saceroni wahekan.
Onekti askenagon saceruni wahetka.
Askane qua
Askenagon saceruni.
askene qua saceroni wahetka.
Excellent.
Will.
Onexti on skenegua sa soruni waheka.
Onexi askenegwa saceroni wahetka.
Very good.
Onexi onskene guan saceroni wahetka.
Onekchi askakwe saceruni waheka.
Oh boy, you're young at it.
Lisa.
Onexi anskenegwa saceroni wahekan.
Onexi anskeneguan saceroni wahetkan. Circle.
Okay, so we only got a little bit of time left. We did say if anybody could think of any words. Now this, of course, is very important. If you did think of any words that fit this application. So if anybody has any word, then put your hand up, Edith.
Well, it was the title of the thing should be reconciliation.
Okay. All right. Reconciliation. That's what the title we're naming this class tonight. So do we already have that word, reconciliation?
I don't think so.
We didn't do it in there. Reconcile. I thought we did it. Okay. Well, you should put that at the top, right?
Yeah.
Reconciliation.
Amzai the Wari was Seruni.
I'm so dirty. Seruni.
Amzai de Wari.
Wasseruni.
Yeah. Amzai the Wari was Seruni.
Ansayade wari wasseruni.
Anzayete wari waseruni.
Sayete wari waseruni.
Ayon saite wari watsaruni.
Ayon sarete wari wasaruni.
Ayon sarete wari wasaruni.
Ayon saite wari wasiruni.
Will.
Ayun zaide ware wasaruni.
Yanade.
Janet, did you do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so Elsa then. Elsa, are you there? Okay, so Harold.
Zaite wari wasaruni.
Very good.
Ayon sayete wari waseruni.
Yanade.
Lisa.
Ayon Sade Wari Wasaroni.
Yanade.
Ahun sayede wari waseruni. Circle.
Very good.
Okay, is there anybody else then through this evening? Did you think of any word that would fit this application?
Will raise his hand, so.
We must heal our community.
You know, truly, when you say that, Will, we know that this has occurred everywhere. It is something that is completely unaddressed. There are violations that are worse than this in all of our communities that people had not even considered as violations because they have been covered up by the so-called police, by the RCMP, the rapists, the criminals, the murderers, the pedophiles. That's the RCMP. Those are the ones that have done this continuously to our people. Now, they may not be the one carrying out the rape, that specific rape in that specific scenario, but they have done that to us since day one, not only to us, but to non-native people also. And so really, we must heal our community. You can say that as a general application worldwide. We must heal our human community because the humans allow the non-native rapist to export his behavior. They know, the non-native women, the white women of Europe know that their males exported their behavior of stealing, raping, and murdering out of Europe, where they knew, the women knew that it was so bad there that imagine for them to export it around the world and the women of Europe, the white women of Europe, not to say a goddamn thing about it. This shows a very deep intrinsic corruption. Not that the women on their own are corrupt, but as a result of the multi-generational trauma of male dominance upon them, the oppressions that they are perpetuating, precisely what the corrupted male wants them to perpetuate now. And so truly, this is a worldwide issue because in every country, so-called Canada here, rape, it is legal because the system, the judges condescend upon any woman
who would bring a rape case into court and they turn it around on that woman, and the male judges and the male prosecutors make that woman feel degraded, talking about her, about the way she dressed. Or you might as well say, you're too damn beautiful. It's a crime. Women are too beautiful and men cannot handle it. This is the insane corruption that has stemmed out of Europe. And it's about time that we see white women start to talk about the corruption of their men. Now to hear a non-native, a white woman talk about this corruption when it is her own father, this shows how everybody out there has a responsibility to bring this stuff up. If she can do it, well, why are you sitting on your ass out there on the things that you know that you can address, or you can open up that can of corrupted worms that needs to be addressed? Okay, anyways, that word.
Ojitewa dena da seruni. So ojitewa da, ojitewa de. Nada
After the H.
seruni. That's it. Ojitewa dena da seruni. Ojitewa dena da seruni.
Oh, okay, right after the en, a comma there, right at the front.
Just here?
Yeah. There.
Okay.
Ojitewa dena da.
Okay, I'll say it first, Stuart. Ojitewa dena da seruni.
Ojitewa dena da seruni.
Anzidewa de nada seruni.
Ansi de wa de na da seruni.
Si te wa te na ta saruni.
Si te wate na da seruni.
Anjite wada na, wait a minute.
Na da
Anjite wada na da seroni.
Ansite wate nata seroni.
Unjita wade wataso runi.
Nada seruni.
Ansi te wate nata seroni.
Very good.
Umsita wate nata saruni.
Nada.
Entite wate nata seruni.
Nada.
Lisa.
Ansita wade nada serone.
Anti de Wadena da Seruni, circle.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have a word? Did anybody else put their hand up? Okay, if nobody else put their hand up, then at the end, we must heal our community so our mothers can live free of corruption. Live free of any corruption. So you've heard this story. Again, it was very important to bring it out in the Kanienkeha class because it was actually Mary Claude dreaming in Kanienkeha that really brought us to this point. Because once she brought the dream forward and we interpreted it, doesn't mean it's right, but the way that we interpret it is the way that it played out here tonight. So this is a heavy burden now on Mary Claude. I'd say it was a heavy burden on her in the last few days building up to this. But just like anything, you know, once you got the burden off your shoulders, well, things are a little bit easier. Okay, we got it?
Yeah. Then yukini staha aguta dewe ni yohage.
after the day.
Agudade, Wayani, Wayani.
Two eyes. Right between the two eyes.
Okay, Agudade way Yaniohage, Agudade way Yohage,
Gondade.
Wahetka.
Gondade.
Okay, we'll say it in like 3 parts, this one.
I think we could say the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. Okay, Nene, you keep me staha, Agudade way Niohage, Wahetka.
Nene, yoki nistaa, gonda de wayeni yo hoge wa hetko.
Good.
Nene yokinista agonda de wayeni yo hage wahetka.
Yanare.
Nene yokinista agunda de weyeni yohage wahetka.
Nene y yonkinesta akontate weni yohake wahetka.
Yo yanare.
Nene yukinistonha akontate wayeni ayoke wahetka.
Nene, yeah.
You keep
Hold on, I can say it. Wait.
You keep me staha.
Yonkini, Yogeni sta Agonda de Wianani Yonhage
Yeah.
Wahetka.
Okay.
Nene Yonkinstaha Akontate Weyeni Yohake Wahaka
Wahetka.
Wahetka.
Okay.
Will.
Nene
The good kitty
Yukinista. Pardon? Sorry.
It's okay, go ahead.
Nene Yukinista ego tate wa ni he. Sorry.
Agudade Wayaniohage.
Wa ne heo ka wa
Hage.
ake wa heka.
Okay. Agudade Wayaniohage.
Akontate wa ne heo wa te
Hage.
age.
Nene yukinistana agondate wayene yohage waja.
Yanare.
Nene yonkinisto yogontate wayeni yohake waheka.
Nene yonkinistaha angonta de weni yohake wahekon.
Lisa.
Nene Yonkin Kinista Agondade Wiane Iage Iage Wahaken
Wahetka.
Wahetka.
Very good.
Nene yonkinista agondade wayeni yohake wahetka. Circle.
Okay, we don't have time to take any more words. Nobody else had their hand up anyways. Okay, we know that this is a hard issue and it might be hard even to think of words, that apply. So anyways, but given the time, we have to end now. So this is where Wayagir is going to read off the words, pronounce them properly. So everybody's got to put their microphone on mute.
And don't forget, you gotta wait for Angel to tell you to go ahead.
Is it
Okay,
ready?
Angel.
Sorry, you can go ahead. I was muted.
Okay. Here we go then. Amzayederi Waseruni. Reconciliation. Nadiyanara Sirizaks. I want to reconcile the past wrongs. Sunaderi Wade Waktun. They have erred in law. Dehonadun Hagayam. Their minds are eating at them or tormented. Onekti Andawadi Huara. We must raise the law. Goni Jagoyun Dainda Denutumze. A young girl was violated or raped. Wajudadenu Warakasi. Wajudadenu Warakasi. They have split her sky. Onekti Agwego Oyagori Watogase. And everybody must know about it. Ungue Onekti Oyeyanarasera. The people must uphold the law. Onekti Oskenagwasasiruni Wahetka. I need to clear up the bloodline of ugliness. Majita Wadena Dasiruni. We must heal our community. Nene Yukitni Staha Agudadewani Yohage Wahetka. So our mothers can live free of any corruption or ugliness.
Okay. All right, well, what time is it right now?
9:12.
Okay, this has been a very different kind of Kanienkeha class. If anybody wants to say anything to Mary Claude or anything about this, since you've had the strength, the will to bring this out, to address this publicly, knowing how big this is, that this is a very, we acknowledge it as a very brave thing that I myself have never seen anybody address the two-row wampum this way, apply it to a reconciliation by correcting past wrongs. I've never seen a non-native person do this ever in my life. I don't know if anybody else has any examples of a non-native person doing this, but I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of any elders passing this down in a longhouse to say that a non-native person has done this. So to see this and to have this transpire here with everybody, of course, this is a learning experience for everyone, but it is also a groundbreaking action. Or it's in that when you're stretching the rubber band, and you know at some point it's going to snap and it's going to come back and hit you. So this action is somewhere in there designed to reduce the impact of the retribution of the of when it snaps back at you. So yes, the person who is guilty deserves the ultimate whatever according to the crime that was committed. But the peoples in their families don't deserve that unless
they are enabling that. Unless they are completely aware and they are not saying anything about it, then they are guilty by association. They are, what do you call that? Accomplices by aiding and abetting. So this is a very huge thing. So this is what I have to say to you. I've never seen this. I've never seen anybody do anything like this. I can't think of the proper word to say, but it would be somewhere like in the lines of congratulations, even though knowing that maybe congratulations isn't the proper term here. But I would say congratulations to us collectively as a species, because now this is the first time we have not overlooked something. We have not brushed it under the rug. So when we think of all our trajectories, where we have been in our lives, and now how our paths have all crossed at this point, and really the things that we discuss, the things that we're addressing with each other is about reestablishing our humanity within us, helping each other to do this. So tonight, we all win. We all gain by this. Even though it is a bad thing, we all gain in the process. So again, I can't think of the proper word. I can't say thank you, but I acknowledge, and that it must be, I acknowledge how it must be a very hard thing for you. So this is where we have to do, how do you identify that, Wayagero? When it's time for the corn hoeing to prop up the corn, this is what we must all do for her now. How do you say that?
I'll write it. Wait. Oh, gee.
Okay, that'll be the final word that we'll add in this, and I guess we can't add it with the words that was spoken. Can that be done, Angel? If he's, can it be added to it?
Yes.
Okay, so like we said, is there anybody who would wish to address Mary Claude on this?
Yeah, me. Whatever. Hang on.
Okay, we'll wait till you're done.
It's because since she finished, we have been speaking about these things, and this process that you are doing is intimately linked to my own process. And I know that you acknowledge that, and I acknowledge your bravery for doing that. So since you finished, I just wanted to and acknowledge the bravery. That should be another word.
This is the word.
Oh, I have to share it now.
Anzi.
Anzi
right there, comma. Anzi.
Anzi, and then yeti ya.
Yeah, right between the two eyes. No, between the two eyes.
Anzi yeti. And then yakatstade.
Yakatstade, yeah.
Anzi yeti yakatstade.
Anzi yeti yakatstade.
Anzi yeti yakatstade. Anzi yeti yakatstade.
Anzi yeti yakatstade.
Ansi yeti yagatstade.
Angiati Agastade.
Ansiati Agastade.
Anxiety Augusta.
Ansiety Augustane.
Anxiety Augusta.
Anxiety Agastate.
Lisa.
Antheatia Augustae.
Janare.
Anxiety Augusta. Circle.
Okay.
Okay, so it's just that one word. Guayaguerro's gonna have to say that one word, so everybody's gonna have to stay quiet for a minute.
Okay.
Yes.
Anxiety Augusta. To prop up the corn, not the corn. We're propping up Mary Claude, right? Anxiety Augusta.
Well, it was like, it's the comparisons to prop her up, like,
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Anxiety Augusta. That's all right. We said it right.
so can we put in there to prop her up like the corn? Can we put that in there and see what it says, to prop her up like the corn?
Okay, Augusta. And then just in case, space. TSI. NI. Dinine, yeah. And then space, honest. ONENH. Honest. ONENH. It's not honest, it's ONENH.
Oh,
ONENH.
N-E-N.
N one ONENH.
okay.
Honeste.
Honest.
Anxiety Augusta Zinine Honeste.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're gonna have to say that over again, so Angel can record that whole thing.
Okay, Angel, you ready?
Yes.
Anxiety Augusta Zinine honest.
Do you say it in English?
You can say it in English.
Prop her up like the corn.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, okay. Like we said, this is a big thing. Is there anybody that would like to say anything then to Angel, to Mary Claude on this tonight?
Because going back to the words here, this is bringing it out, even though we may not find the actual closure and finding this person. This is the beginning of the healing. This is that we are starting to, you are healing us by doing this, and I thank you. And this is the step. I don't know what the next step is, because we don't and we can't find this closure, but it's at least I know this is the start for healing.
There's two more hands raised.
Let's go ahead, tell them who.
There's Mary Canelsa. Go ahead, Mary.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to you, Medicloud, thank you, for setting an example of, how to do like reconciliation and how to actually do this healing. So thank you for your courage and thank you for your bravery, and that was a very emotional sharing, and thank you for that.
There's Elsa.
Okay. Michael, I want to say thank you so much. It takes a lot of courage to stand up and to be open, to be can I say that? To rendering you available to be healing the nation, healing us, healing humans. Thank you very much.
Janet.
There you go. Yeah, Mary Cloud, I wanted to say too that I think you have a lot of courage and are very brave. And to also carry the weight of family members when you apparently, have done nothing wrong, but the sensitivity that you carry because it's your dad, your bloodline, and you carry that. Some people might call it carrying the weight of the world. But I've heard some elders say when we heal ourselves, we heal our ancestors also. And I do believe that. And I also believe that what you did here, this is like a public forum, and many people would not want to say something like this in front of an open arena. I hate that word arena. That's not the word I'm looking for. Maybe a forum, open forum. Very few places I have seen this type of honesty. And when I was younger, I spent many, 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 many months homeless. And I cannot tell you how much I learned. And one of the things that stays with me to this day is the honesty that I saw in some of those homeless people, the raw honesty that they had for the errors that they had made in their lives, and be open in the streets, telling people, and it wasn't done like in secret or just amongst a friend or like that, if someone had confronted them about what they did, it like they would say it, and it shocked me, like, wow, and for me, for lack of a better word, I saw the spirit, God, the creator, I don't know, the higher power, whatever, working through the people that way, and that's how we heal. And the lesson for me was to take that leap into honesty, and so, yeah, I'm just very touched, and thank you. I don't know what else to say except that it's a great healing, and this is true, Stuart. That's the way we will heal society. Each of us have to. Thank you.
Yeah. Is that it?
Mhm.
Okay.
I would want to ask a question to Marie-Claude. But first I want to acknowledge your courage, and I recognize you in it, so you're my friend. But I would want to ask, how do you feel now that you did it?
Oh, it's very confusing because my dad is still alive and I haven't spoken to my dad in 7 years, so but it's been with me for forever, and now I feel it's like, we shared it now, and I thank everybody, so much for allowing this, because in the non-native world, you just stay stuck there. You just stay and take the abuse, and everybody takes the abuse, and everybody puts a smile on their face, and I'm just can't take that, it's just so to me, I wanted justice. I made complete abstraction that it is my dad. I just said, this man deserves, it's no good what he did. That's a monster. I mean, my mom was expecting me. You're expecting a baby girl, and this is what you do in your free time. I'm so angry. I cannot find the words for this, So for me, it's the only possibility I had, and I'm really grateful for it. So it's a lot of emotion because ever since I was 13 years old, you know, I had this, it came, you know, it's something that stays with you constantly. So I think that was a very important step and very needed. So, and by the way, I even said when I was speaking to my dad, still, I asked him, I said, how can I know the truth about this, you know? I said, I'm gonna ask him and I'm just gonna pay attention to his answer. And I asked him, I said, you know what? I heard that you raped a Native woman. And he didn't say a word, just stayed there. So I knew. So I'm glad that it's, you know, I'm thinking of her. I don't know if she's still alive, but this was a great honor of her life today. And I thank you very much. I thank you, Wayageru.
Okay, as you see, it's a rough thing. Just to recap as to what went on here tonight. I'm sure that everybody isn't really grasping the magnitude and the ripple effects, how far this will go. When you think of when a dam breaks, we all know the story of that little boy with his finger in the dam. We know that in order for the dam to bust open and the waters to flow and rush out, that it has to start from one little trickle. That's where it starts from. And this is where what we're seeing tonight, we're seeing a trickle. Now, if people in the non-native world were honest, if they were good people, if they were sincere, everybody in the non-native world is sitting on stories like this because everybody's family is connected to corruptions like this here in Turtle Island. If they're a non-native blood, then there's corruptions in their family lines like this. And if the people in the here and now want to imagine themselves as being good without addressing those things, you're not good. You'll never be good. The only way to be good is to address them, to pull them out. What you see here tonight is partially, just partially through a dream. A dream enabled this. I would say that maybe it was like the straw that broke the camel's back. There was a lot of straws prior to this, but you know, it always takes one to break the camel's back, as the saying goes. Say that here, it's the dream. It's the empowerment of the dreams and how much emphasis that we put on dreams. I won't speculate, but I know that in the past, you probably didn't put as much weight or emphasis on dreams, and maybe didn't even have a way to have those dreams interpreted, you know, for you to see what they mean, to see how it connects you to a larger collective. But here we see that through dreams, it can speak to us over the generations, because we have the generations in us. We all have our ancestors within us. And so over the generations internally, someone can speak to us from 50 generations back, from one generation back, can speak to us by identifying to us what is either the right thing or showing us corruption. And when it shows us corruption, then we have to be pure-minded enough or true enough to know how to get that corruption out of us. So, like we say, pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to each other, to not only your friends and family, your loved ones, but the people who are like-minded, the people who are supporting you, propping you up like the corn, who's helping each other to stand up. Now in this thing, in the world, things are a little bit different now, a little bit different. From where we didn't know about this, it wasn't addressed. Now we do know about it, and it's beginning to be addressed. So when you're looking at that woman who is being raped and that male has his hand or his arm down on her throat, well, tonight, the arm was released off of the throat, and she could speak. We heard her speak. We hear what is happening. And so this is a great thing. It's great for all humans
because we're addressing very deep corruptions that anybody else, anywhere else would be afraid and not even see the importance or even have the power to address it. So that being said, this is your night. We'll ask you to do the closing.
I'm Marie-Claude. I am the great-granddaughter of Marie-Louise, the granddaughter of Yvette, Afghanistan, Francine. Tinu Wadadu, Jegun Seze, for giving us our spirit. Yawagoa, Yonkinistani, Zage, to, no, sorry, our grandmother moon is Yonkisota Asantaneka Garakwa. Thank you for our mother, grandmother moon, for giving us our blood. Yawagoa, Yonkinistan, Zage, our mother earth, for giving us our bodies. Nyawagoa, Yonkinistan, Ogunha, all the mothers from the newest baby girl to the eldest of the grandmother. Nyawagoa, Tikundi, Nagerat Gawas, all the life givers in all the strains of life. Nyawagoa, Onegasu, all the waters. Ganyang Darageru, the rivers. Gayung Hagumso, creeks. Yatstaratenyu, the water drops. Nyawagoa, to the life protectors that walks in balance on our Mother Earth. Nyawagoa, Onunkwasu, all the medicine. Nyawagoa, Yoyan Kwakwenyes, the sacred tobacco. Nyawagoa, honesty, the corn. Nyawagoa, Gayandawana, balance. Yohahio, the good path. Gayandawana, I said it. Skana, peace. And Gonigudio, the good mind. Nyawagoa for our ancestors who carry the good mind, for guiding us always. Thank you for making us who we are. Nyawagoa Ganon Sesni, the long house. Nyawagoa Gayanera Seraskanagoa, the great law of peace. Nyawagoa Degeni de Ohade, the Turu Wampum Peace Treaty. Nyawagoa are all the people, past, present, and future, who carry the peace in their heart and work towards establishing and re-establishing peace on our Mother Earth. Nyawagoa Agwex, which is I'm trying to say all the words I know in Kanienkeha that can fit in there, but Nyawagoa for everyone.
Here, huh?
For yours.
There goes.
Nyawagoa for everybody present tonight. It was massive for me and very positive. So thank you so much for your support and for this space. And thank you for all creation in good spirit. And we certainly have nothing to do with bad. And we push it on 3 levels of existence. Erisawit, Erisawit, Erisawit.
Yeah, you're young today. Danzija.com.
Okay, Ona.
Ona, Sason Dios.
Ana.
Esos días.